cloud security and privacy. This is one of the important concept and a major problem what cloud users are facing and even cloud providers, right. Let us understand about the security and privacy issues in the cloud, right. The cloud acts as a big black box, right, because we do not know. See, we are creating accounts in cloud, we are loading our data into the buckets, S3 bucket or some storage facility, right. We are writing our code, deploying our application, right. We are using that services, but what is happening in the backend we do not know, right. Inside cloud, where is the data being stored, who is monitoring the data, is somebody checking my data or not, we do not know that, right. So nothing inside the cloud is visible to the clients, and the clients or the users have no idea or control over what is happening inside the cloud. Okay. So even if the cloud provider is honest, let us say, it can have malicious system admins who can tamper with the VMs and violate the confidentiality and integrity. We cannot believe them, right, because we do not know what is happening in the backend. No one has the control except the cloud provider, right. So clouds are still subject to traditional data confidentiality, integrity, availability and privacy issues. So it is up to, it is our risk to we are taking risk by deploying our applications in the cloud. It is working fine, it is fine, but still blindly we cannot believe the cloud, right. So what are the important causes of the problems associated with the cloud? Some problems are happening in the cloud. What are the main causes for them? One is loss of control, then loss of trust and multi-tenancy. Let us understand what is loss of control, right. What is this loss of control? You do not have the control for your data, application resources are with the provider. User identity management, you are creating accounts in the cloud, that is also handled by the cloud. Access control rules, security policies, everything is managed by the cloud provider. And for data security and privacy, you are dependent on the cloud provider. For resource availability, you are going and asking the cloud provider, right. For monitoring and repairing of services, you are asking the cloud provider. Nothing is in your control, everything is with the cloud provider. So this is one major reason why there are issues with the cloud, that is loss of control. Consumer has no control over the cloud services and his own application. The second one is lack of trust, right. Again, trusting a third party requires taking risk. When we are blindly trusting the cloud, it means we are taking risk. Okay. So trust and risk both are the opposite sides of same coin, either trust or risk, and need of trust arises only in risky situations, right. So we do not trust the cloud. We are trusting it now, my application is working fine. If something goes wrong, then I am telling I took a risk, I cannot believe you because you cheated me. If no risk is happening, everything is okay, we are trusting you. That is the situation in the cloud, right. And the third one, multi-tenancy. We know multi-tenancy means a single physical server might be used by multiple users without knowing, and the back end, the cloud provider might be allocating resources or might be storing data of multiple users in a single physical server, right. In that case, somebody who got one part of this allocated with them, right, they might write some malicious program and impact the hardware, right. So we cannot again that chance also is there here, right. So tenants share a pool of resources and have opposing goals. Cloud computing brings new threats. Multiple independent users share the same physical infrastructure like this, right. Thus an attacker can legitimately be in the same physical machine as the target. In the same physical resource, one attacker could be hiding in the server or in the storage, and who is targeting the other parts of the hardware and the infrastructure, right. So these are three main causes for all the problems associated with the cloud. Then let us talk about privacy. When we talk about privacy, it is about data. So all the users' data is there in the cloud. We are saying, let us say, and a cloud service provider is telling that we are storing your data in encrypted format so that nobody can access them. That is fine. We are believing them, right. But underlying, they might be running some data mining algorithms, Okay, they may not be accessing my data, but they can get the type of data I am storing, right? Which kind of business the data is that, all that parameters he can guess it from the data, right? So they might be running some data mining algorithms to know information about the clients. Let's say some banking data is there, transaction date, transaction amount, then I can understand this is banking data. So based on that, they might do some other business with the customers, right? So increased attack surface, since you are putting data there, right? Why? See, entity outside the organization now stores and computes data. Somebody outside your company, outside your business is having control of your data, and you are storing your data and executing the task there. So the attackers can now target the communication link between the provider and the client. So I, as a private user, I am communicating with the public cloud. So this communication can be attacked, right? And the most important, cloud provider employees can be phished, right? Meaning the people who are working in the cloud provider side, they can access the data because they are only creating the services. They can check the data, they can do the decryption there from there, and we do not know what is happening in the back end, right? So this is about the privacy issues related with the cloud. So what are the mitigation strategies? What steps should we follow so that we can reduce the security and privacy issues in the cloud, right? So the first one is identity and access management. Okay, IAM. I think we have this in our cloud which we are using in the laboratory, right? IAM access. So enforce strict role based access control, RBAC. Means you create roles, let this role have access to the database, let this role have access to only few services. That way we can restrict the users, right? The principle of least privilege and the mandatory multi-factor authentication. Okay, right? This way we can prevent the unauthorized access. The second one is data protection and encryption. Encrypt the data at rest. Whatever data is stored, let it be in encrypted format. And also whatever data is being transmitted, let that also be transmitted in encrypted form only, using some strong algorithms like AES 256, and manage keys securely using hardware security modules, right? So we have to follow some strong encryption mechanism or cryptographical mechanisms to store the data, to secure the data. The third one is infrastructure security. Utilize tools, right, to detect misconfigurations, automatic security patches, and use web application firewalls to protect against DDoS attacks. See, without you knowing, in the hardware some configurations or some patches are being installed. Those patches could be one target, or some malicious program might be installed. We do not know that. So we need to have some tools which will keep observing, is there any change in the infrastructure level. If some change is happening, you should know that, you should observe that, right? That way also you can reduce some security issues in the cloud. Then network segmentation. When the data is being transmitted from one to the other, right? In this case, you should not, if it's a sensitive data, don't use the public route. You may create another network connection between these two parties for private data transmission, right? Network segmentation means cutting down the network into two different paths. Okay, right? So like at our institute, somebody comes, we have a guest Wi-Fi for them. We have NITT Wi-Fi, we have a guest Wi-Fi as well, so that they can only access guest Wi-Fi, they don't come to the main Wi-Fi. The last one is zero trust architecture, very, very interesting and recent trend. What is happening in the security area is zero trust architecture. What does it means? Never trust, always verify model. I don't have trust on anyone. Whenever, see, we always do auto save our username password for a lot of our websites, right? We are trusting it blindly. That should not be the scheme. Now they are telling never trust, always you have to type and verify model, right? Requiring authentication for every user and device regardless of the location. Whenever you are accessing the services, when n number of times you access, n number of times you have to enter the username password, right? So zero trust architecture follows a model, never trust, always verify model, right? So these are few security mitigation strategies which can help us from avoiding the problems of cloud security as well as privacy.